All right, let me tell you a little story. I left my tripod up in the house, or in my truck. I finally figured out what was wrong with the distributor. So I'm freehanding this, so I'm saying deal with it. Found out what was wrong with my distributor. My brother came down here and glanced at it while I was gone, and it made me feel like a small child because apparently, in order for a distributor to work, it needs some power run to it, and apparently the Regulate Traveler knocked the power cable loose while effing with the fuel pump. So that's why it wouldn't hit a lick for the camping trip. So it cranks fine, it runs amazing. I drive down the cigar shop. It's running just fantastic, it's great. New water pump, which is a problem in and of itself because this is going to be a rant video. Let's just have a moment, okay? So this is the original water pump that was on it, okay? The new water pump looks very similar to this one, and you'd say, well, that's because it's the same one, Regulate Traveler. That's the replacement. See, you're wrong. You're wrong. What you have here is a poor attempt to replicate this water pump. Okay? I've never understood the purpose of these companies, whether it be Omex Auto or Crown or whatever place you want to get your parts from. I'll never understand the reason why they replicate something and they make it almost correct. Almost. But they do it wrong. Okay, so you'll say, well, but it's on there, Regulate Traveler. What the hell's wrong with it? Well, let me tell you what's wrong with it. This pulley that mounted onto this, okay, this one right here, used to have a pulley on the back of it. Well, because the way this new one that's like the same but different, I had to cut that pulley off in order for it to clear so that it didn't rub the face of the pulley behind here. You're like, well, that's no big deal. It's already on there. Clearly, it's fine. Well, it's not fine because if you look at that belt, it's crooked as a dog's leg. All right, so now I didn't care because I'm just going to send it, right? That's what I do. I send, okay? I got in here since it was running right. I turned this key right here, and if you look all the way over there to the right, you'll notice the skinny pedal. That's referred to as the send lever, okay? You grab that lever and you snap it off all the way, okay? You apply sending. So I'm going to address this later. I'm going to have to shim that pulley out a little bit, make a spacer, shim it out so that that pulley is running correctly, you know, allegedly. But the problem with that is if you do that, then it's going to be offset for your alternator. So I'm probably, more than likely, will just leave it like this. But it's not a problem because the damn thing won't run long enough to worry about the water pump. It won't run long enough to worry about the water pump, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't care, okay? It doesn't care because apparently the new fuel pump, which some of y'all are going to be happy. A few of y'all are going to be happy, actually. You told me this mechanical fuel pump is trash. You know, only Nazis would use this fuel pump. It's terrible. It's evil. This is the fuel pump that Al-Qaeda used. All right, this is horrible, all that. And I argued with you. I defended this fuel pump. Okay? Well, apparently, my new freshly remanned replica Chinese mechanical pump has given up the ghost, and it's weeping violently out of this hole right here, which is your weep hole, to let you know that it is trash. Okay? So, yeah, that's right. I've got to dip in. I'm so stressed right now. Not stressed, that's not the right word, because none of this actually matters, right? It's more just enraged. Loathing. Quite a bit of loathing. I don't know if that's battery acid or gas. I don't know. Anyway, so it's violently puking. So I get out onto the interstate, heading up from the cigar shop, and it just dies right in the interstate. And if you've ever been on 575 running north towards Ball Ground, you'll know that people drive on it like it's Daytona. All right, so they just hauling ass, and they're trying to kill me. And at the moment, I'm not going to lie, I kind of wish one of them would hit me. Not going to lie. But that's for weaklings, all right? And so I get out, and I notice that it's just hemorrhaging fuel out of this weep hole right here. So I jam a stick into it. I called my brother and asked him what he thought it was. We assessed it. I jammed a stick into it. All right, now that's very risky, because what happens when you do that? This is a relief, all right, when this goes bad, all right, that hole. And what you do when you do that is you really risk it pushing fuel into your block, okay? Which in turn will wash your bearings and destroy your straight six. Now, fortunately, that didn't happen. But it's surging fuel, it won't idle, it acts like it's intermittently getting fire because it's starving for fuel. So, I call my brother. He's gracious enough to try to come down here and get me, but it decides it's going to run long enough to get home. But you had to be real easy with the throttle for the pump that's not working to keep up. So people are trying to rear end me. Sorry, this is very difficult without a tripod, so just deal with me. All right, I'm sorry. I love you all, okay? Get it home. And this fuel pump, pull the stick out of it, it's puking everywhere. I mean, it's like David Hasselhoff after a bender. I mean, it's just puking gas everywhere. It's insane. So I checked my oil, make sure I didn't pump a bunch of gas into my crankcase. I didn't. So that's bueno. So now I got to go over there and have a talk with the boys at Napa and ask them why. Why did you do this? Why have you forsaken me? I was just giving you some good PR. You sold me this fuel pump. And you know it's good because it's let's see, where is it? Yeah, right here, made in China. All right. That's how you know it's good. So, and it's not, and I'm by no means suggesting that the Chinese cannot create good things. They can. It's the companies over here that are telling them to make this fuel pump for as cheap as they possibly can. The Chinese could make this fuel pump be as good as they wanted it to be, make it as good as gold if they wanted to, but the companies over here that are making them over there, all those nice American companies, right? They're telling them, make this fuel pump for 32 cents per dozen. And so the Chinese guys that are over there making it are going, yeah, we can do that. And so they make it. And it's shit. So I'm not even blaming the Chinese for this. It's not their fault. It's the American companies that are making them make this for trash. I would gladly pay $75, $150 for this fuel pump if it lasted for more than literally 6 hours, which is how long this one lasted. Not even that. About probably an hour and a half worth of total runtime on it. So for those of you that told me that the pump is trash, I will yield a little bit. Now, I got a faulty one. I'm sure this one's made in Southeast Asia as well. But that one's been fine. I just replaced it because of the top. But it was pumping fine. And if I'd have had it with me, I would have just swapped it on the side of the road real quick. So, what I'm saying is I'm willing to admit that this pump in particular, this mechanical pump, is trash. And it's the first mechanical pump in my life of messing with Jeeps, tractors, cars, literally everything. It's the only one I've ever had let me down. And technically it didn't, because it did get me home. So I'll give you 50%. You're right. How about that? I'll admit that. 50%. It works every time. So I'm going to go over to Napa tomorrow. Or I might just let it sit here and think about itself for a little while. I don't know. But either way. And I'm going to see if they'll give me another pump. And then we'll go from there. But when the Jeep's running, it's really good. Because if you notice, pretty soon there's going to be nothing left to replace under the hood here. Except for the engine. We got a brand new distributor. We got a brand new alternator. We got a brand new carburetor. We got a brand new water pump that's very similar to the original one, but not quite right. We got a brand new steering component over there. We got a brand new master cylinder. We got a new battery. We had a new fuel pump, and the fuel pump decided to scream and die and let me down. So yeah. Yep. So, yeah. On a side note, completely unrelated to all this, let's do a little history jaunt, shall we? I got this dip in. All right. I haven't dipped in years. Once every now and then, I used to dip quite a lot. Copenhagen long cut was my jam. But I gave that up. And then, you know, stress happens. So, anyway, history jaunt. So, I am quite into metal detecting. I haven't done it much because I spend most of my time working on these Jeeps, which I love, okay? Anyway, I used to metal detect quite a lot. I have some higher-end metal detectors. I would metal detect all over Georgia. I used to go up to Virginia and metal detect quite often. And I was up in Virginia, towards the top of Virginia, near Culpeper, and I was metal detecting in this massive field beside the Rappahannock, all right? And I hadn't found nothing, all right? I was at an organized hunt where you pay to go, and, you know, because if you're in Georgia and you metal detect, all you hear all the old time, there ain't nothing left to find in Georgia. All the Civil War stuff has been hunted out in Georgia. There ain't nothing left. No, that's not true. The reason why I went to Virginia is because I wanted to metal detect somewhere different, basically. It's a lot more urban here in the areas where the Civil War occurred, and so I wanted to hunt in a field for a change instead of behind a Walmart or something. But regardless, I'm up there in this field, and I get this really quiet. So I've got a Minelab GPX 4800. That's a rather high-dollar machine. It's certainly not the most expensive machine for metal detecting in the world, but it is, as far as I'm concerned, the absolute best metal detector if you're looking for Civil War crap. It will pick up, say, an artillery shell, which is about, you know, depends on the size of the shell, but, you know, it's about, just imagine like a football. Like a smaller football, say if you got a Schenkel shell or something, it'll pick up something about that size at about, if everything's working in your favor, the soil's good, your metal detector's tuned good, and you know what you're doing, it'll pick that up to close to 4 feet. Okay? It'll pick up a bullet at about, I've dug them as deep as 16 inches, 15 inches with it. If you've got more than one bullet, I've dug them about 2 feet deep if you have 2 or 3 bullets together. So I'm up there in this field, and I get this really slight, mild signal. What guys that use the GPX call a high tone. A high tone is gold, silver, it's non-ferrous items, basically, everything that doesn't have iron in it. So gold, silver, copper, brass, all that stuff gives a high tone. And then all the iron stuff gives a low tone, lead gives a low tone, mixed metals give low tones. Anyway, I get this very light high tone. And I'm standing there in this field, and I'm like, you know, this is trash. I know what it is. It's a 22 casing. It's a bubblegum wrapper. It's a 3 Merry Widows tin. It's something, but it's not anything the Red Clay Traveler gives a tinker's damn about. But when you metal detect and you've drove 9 hours and you're using a metal detector that costs more than your truck, then you decide, you know what, I'm going to dig it. So I dig it. And what pops out is a little tiny gold ring that literally will just barely fit on my pinky. And, you know, which is, you know, my jam, right? I like gold. Gold's good. So I dig this gold ring. And I clean it off some, and on the inside of it is inscribed letters and numbers. So I take it up there, show it to my brother and my mother, and, you know, we're excited about this gold ring. Fast forward, it's a long story. Fast forward, that gold ring was the wedding ring to a woman named Betty Ashby. Betty Ashby was the sister of a man named Turner Ashby. Turner Ashby was known as the Black Knight of the Confederacy. He was a cavalry officer. He was Stonewall Jackson's cavalry officer, and he was so damn good at what he did that the North, for quite a while, thought that he wasn't real. They thought he was a myth, that he was just a rumor made up, right? Well, he wasn't. He was just a hard ass, and He was killed, I believe, in 1862. He had a brother that was killed in 1861, and he had the sister, Turner Ashby. Betty Ashby. Her name was Elizabeth Ashby, but she went by Betty. She married a man named, I think his name was George Green, if I remember right. And she married him, and this was their wedding ring. So inside is the date that they were engaged, or married. And some people up in Virginia that run a big metal detecting magazine got a hold of it and did the research for me. Actually, kind of against my will. It's a whole different story. They kind of tricked me into letting them do it, and then blackmailed me and told me that they wouldn't tell me who owned the ring unless I let them publish it in their magazine, which is always nice when people are cutthroat and underhanded. But that's neither here nor there. So they got married. I believe the date on the ring, I can't remember. I'm going to put pictures of it in this video so you can see it. But they were married. I believe it in the ring it says November 24th, I think, 1859. I could be completely wrong on the date. If I am, I'll correct it when I show the picture. Anyway. Look at that Jeep right there that's worthless. Anyway, back to my stupid face. She died not long after this. She died just before the Civil War. Actually, I think they were married in 1849. And then she died in 1859. Her brother rubbed shoulders with Stonewall Jackson. And Stonewall Jackson is one of my all-time favorite historical figures when it comes to American history. Stonewall Jackson is a very complex man. He has a lot more to him than most people think. And basically, in my view of the Civil War, he is probably the most impressive military commander during the Civil War. Now, you can make arguments about Lee. You can make arguments about Grant. I could refute those arguments, but either way, we can have the discussion. But what I'm saying is Stonewall Jackson was able to hold off 3 separate Union armies from taking over the northern Shenandoah Valley and during the Valley Campaign. Stonewall Jackson's cavalry was ran by Turner Ashby. So this ring is, one person removed from Stonewall Jackson in the time. And I found it in a field in Virginia, in northern Virginia. I will post pictures of it. It's very, very cool, and it's only one of a kind. There is no other one. There is not one like it. There is only one. Okay? Now, a lot of guys will tell you a gold coin, a $20 gold piece. Look at this worthless Jeep. Just look at it. Shame on it. Shame it with me. Shame on you. Anyway, a lot of people tell you a $20 gold piece or something like that is the find of a lifetime if you're relic hunting in America, right? But the thing is gold coins are exceptionally rare, but gold coins, they made more than one, okay? This gold ring was handmade for one person, and there's only one of it in the world. There's one. So people always ask me, like, well, how much do you think it's worth? Like, well, I don't know. How do you value something that literally there's nothing to compare it to? There is only one. There can only be one, okay? I'm turning the camera away because y'all don't need to see me spit tobacco juice. Anyway, unlike this Jeep right here where there's lots of them and they make up junkyards and it acts like a Ford. Anyway, back to the gold ring. So, obviously, it's mine forever. I'm going to carry it forever. I would like to have it replicated. I would like to have a gold ring big enough for me to wear. Maybe a pinky ring, pinky ring with the same inscriptions on the inside of it. And I'd like to wear it because, obviously, I can't wear this one and it's too rare and valuable to wear around in public. But I would like to have a replica of it made, and then I could sport a gold pinky ring. Anyway, So I could, when people give me crap about Jeeps or something, I can hit them with my ring hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give them the ring hand. So it's pretty cool. I think y'all would like the pictures of it. I've got some pretty good pictures, and I will show you the article if I can find the magazine. It was in 2 different metal detecting magazines. I can show you the articles. It was on the cover of one, and it had a several page like sidebar thing about it in the other one. But yeah, so, and I also have an ass load of bullets, quite a few buttons, some knapsack hooks, some bayonets, all kinds of stuff that I found metal detecting. I would really like to get back into it, but it requires an obscene amount of effort and time, and it's very disappointing. Imagine going to look for something from over 150 years ago for hours on end, in the sun, in the rain, in the winter, and 99% of what you're going to find out there is going to be worth maximum $1. Okay, so like a Civil War bullet, just a normal 3-ring mini ball, is worth like $1. Okay, now I've got an ass load worth of mini balls, so I've got quite some change in there. But regardless, you're using a metal detector that costs, between the headphones and the coils and what the machine costs us up, you've got like $5 or $6 grand tied up in metal detecting equipment to look for something that's worth $1. Now, what I'm looking for is a Confederate belt buckle. That's what I'm looking for. Specifically, an Atlanta Arsenal Confederate belt buckle, or a Georgia State Militia belt buckle, or box plate. I'll post a picture of what those look like as well, so that you know what I'm talking about if you've never seen any of this, because it's all very strange. People find it very strange that I would spend so much time looking for crap that these guys threw on the ground in the 1860s. But when you're finding it, it is amazing. It's like when your CJ5 is running right. It's like when it is performing the way that it was supposed to. It's amazing. So, just a little personal history thing that I've done, that I've uncovered. So I thought it'd be a little switch up from what I normally do, which is rambling about crap that happened long before I died and I had no part of. So, yeah, there's more to Regulate Traveler than just Jeeps. I do lots of other things. I used to be hardcore, and I would metal detect every opportunity I get. I would hunt in the rain. I've metal detected in light snow. I've metal detected in rivers and creeks and streams. I've done it, like a lot, and I'd like to do it more. But people are really hostile towards it. You ask permission to hunt their property, and I've had people yelling. I've had people, make low-key threats. I've offered to pay them to let me look. They say no, go to hell. It's just, it's just a nightmare most of the time. And they're grading sites all over Georgia where there's Civil War stuff. And you can't hunt it because the graders won't let you look because, they think you're going to sue them if you trip and fall or whatever. So the class of people that exist today have made it more difficult to do these things. If it was 1965, I could virtually metal detect anywhere that I wanted to, pretty much any time. It's not that way anymore, so it's a lot harder to get places to look. It's a lot more difficult. But it does make it more rewarding when you get on a spot. So I will shut up now. I will put in the pictures into this, like I said, and I'll put some more pictures of some other relics I found here at the end. And I'm going to go home and probably cry a little bit about how the Jeep has let me down yet again. Even though it wasn't the Jeep, it was the fuel pump. So, regardless, have a good day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you conquer all that you wish to conquer. And may your fuel pumps always pump fuel adequately so that you may reach the sea and stand and bask in all that you have accomplished. I'm Ray Clay Traveler. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, Jeep for life, even if it's not choosing you for life. Get it.